dawn in the Japanese countryside 35 miles from Tokyo. Every day of the year, Otake Risuke leaves his house at this time to pray. He always carries his sword. As he walks across his garden, he leaves behind the modern world. He moves back in time to the 15th century. In these few steps, Master Otake becomes a samurai warrior, in thought, word, but not in deed. He is among the finest swordsmen living today, the teaching master of probably the best martial arts school in the world. He does not teach a sport. At this school, the students learn an art of killing that they will never use. The second part of the morning ritual consists of exercises in the art of swordsmanship. The Japanese call this iai jutsu, the art of drawing the sword. Even now, life in Japan is lived on the floor, so it's natural to start fighting techniques from a kneeling position. Also, at night, a kneeling person is harder to see. While he practices, Master Otake always imagines that there is an attacker before him and aims his blows at precise points of the attacker's body. His sword strokes are aimed to kill. After each group of strokes, part of the technique is to shake the blood from the sword before returning it to the scabbard. He never takes his eyes from his imaginary enemy. The exercises are planned to counter an attack from any direction. To be effective, the art must be used by a warrior who has developed his willpower. Master Otake's own sword is 600 years old, and the guard is 400 years old. Both were made by famous craftsmen. The whole assembly is held together by just one small bamboo peg. Everything about the sword is practical. The beauty of its shape exists because an elegant curve is strong and cuts well. The groove is cut into it to lighten the weapon without weakening it, and to prevent suction gripping the sword in a wound. All teaching sessions at the school start with practice in the art of the sword. The students practice the exercises in their own time, but always watched by Master Otake. It takes many years to attain speed and precision, to get the control needed to stop the sword instantly in a focused cut. Perhaps the hardest of all is to learn the relaxed balance that allows the body to spin so quickly. To practice the techniques of combat, the school uses wooden swords, bokken, so that a mistake does not cause injury or death. Their teaching is based on the weak points of Japanese armor. which for the sake of flexibility did not protect the blood vessels on the insides of the arms and legs. Their purpose is very different from the sword-based sport of kendo, where the strikes are aimed at the protected part of the body.
この振りかぶり方、まだ後ろ見ちゃった。この振りかぶり方はこれに触らないの、これやるとぶつかるから、ぶつからないように巻き打ちっていう上段ですね。そうですね。それで真っ向を切るようです。はい。面くるやつを体をかわして首に入る。それを稽古ではこう受けますね。受けておいてパッ。人間の体は動脈全部この内側ね。だからこれを切るわけですね。これは草ずる鉄板、これは腐るね。だからこの間へこれ入る、ね、二段で取る。これは転んだ時ですね。戦場で木の根草ずるで足を取られて転んだ時、面切ったはずなのに腹つかれてね。それで立ちながらかわして顔面で、さらに立ちを回して腰へくる。それを体をかわしながら打ちこて、もう一人入れるくらいいましたね。これを絡んでこの首くる、こう打ちます。これはもうつきますね。お互いの円に取る。これは今度首を打ちますよ。首、体をかわして固定、下から固定、さっと外してあいつしながら両方つけるね。はい、これがまだ戻らないうちにこう入る。
It takes a Turkish sensei many hours to explain fully the meaning of one pattern of cuts, and 13 seconds to do them at proper speed. To enable contact training without striking their training partner, they redirect some cuts to engage their partner's sword. Each strike is simultaneously attack and defense. The students practice many different sequences of strokes. Each sequence is called a kata. They never practice free sparring due to the danger of serious injury. They always aim the blows at the weak points in the armor, although they don't wear armor except on special occasions. Master Ataki has two sons. This is the eldest, Nobutoshi. Both have been trained all their lives and they are now both very skilled. The first katas they studied employ single swords. They learn the basic types of cuts, slashes and parries first, then move on to the finer skills in the more difficult katas.
Now, 日本で剣豪ものがブームで、みんなその強い、何回試合しても相手に負けなかったとか、大勢の人を切り倒したとか、そういう剣豪ブームがありますけども、あれは剣豪ものはほとんど作家小説家ですね、そんなのの創作であって、事実的なものはほとんど 90% はもう創作ですから、実際のところは公表されていないんですね。
The school has always been based in the countryside. They have a tradition of practicing on rough ground to train themselves in real fighting conditions. They train with a great range of weapons, halberd, spear, short sword and others, but always one of the pair has a sword. There are no formal teaching sessions. The students work in pairs, there being only room for 2 or 3 pairs at a time. Each pair works through a series of katas, and then their place is taken by another pair. All teaching is individual and is by demonstration. There are many schools in Japan that teach the samurai martial arts, more than 1,000 of them. However, in most of these, the techniques are so ritualized that it is hard to see them being used in a real fight. At this school, the oldest of them all, they are still truly martial. The students are not allowed to forget that men died to learn what they are being taught. The status of the school depends upon the ability of the teaching master. This means that Master Ataki must be at the center of focus in any study of the school. Yet he dislikes such a concentration on himself. For him, it is the school that is important. He sees himself as the servant of the teaching and knowledge preserved by it. The school has great status in Japan. It's an intangible cultural asset, a sort of living national trust property. Once, most of the students used to be farmers from the area. But now, many come from nearby cities, or even Tokyo 2 or 3 times a week. They come from a range of occupations: teachers, dentists, businessmen, accountants. There have never been many of them. At the moment, there are only about 50 active members. The school has always accepted any student who was prepared to study seriously. Though all the teachings were once secret, there was never any question of limiting the training to the Japanese hereditary samurai class. Students pay a small fee to join and an equally small regular contribution. The training session for advanced students covers all types of weapons. For each weapon, there are special exercises. After the sword sessions, they move on to single sword against short and long swords. These were the weapons carried by the samurai until just over a century ago. They could, of course, choose to draw only one of their swords, but once both were unsheathed, special coordination had to be learnt to use them effectively. Crossing the 2 blades is a way of blocking an attack without damaging the blades, and from there either sword can be brought in to cut the opponent down. Many fighting arts use a staff, called a bow by the Japanese. It is a brilliant weapon when handled by a master. The problem for a swordsman fighting against a longer weapon is how to get past it and reach his opponent. A well-placed blow from an oak staff can shatter a sword blade or a helmet, but the sword can make a lethal wound by the lightest of touches. Encircling the sword blade with the tip of the staff can flick the sword out of its owner's hands. The fighter with the staff must, however, always stay out of reach of the swordsman, since he has no close quarters defense. Father and son practicing sword against halberd. These are the most spectacular and elaborate katas of all. The halberd is a deadly weapon, heavy, as sharp as a sword, and able to reach the weak places in armor from a distance. No good swordsman would permit this, and yet he must move in to attacking range. Because of the length and weight of this weapon, it is held in the middle for balance. To counter these powerful strokes, demands great skill from a swordsman. He only has a slight speed advantage, and the halberd has the butt end of its shaft available to parry blows. The warrior's problem when fighting the long spear is different. The man holding a spear will always try to use it at a distance, and the problem for the swordsman is to prevent its powerful momentum striking him. The warrior must attack past the spear point, but his opponent can draw it back quickly. Master Otaki uses his full willpower and energy to fight his way through, but even then it is difficult to close with the spearman, who retreats. There are certainly many other techniques that the school thinks are too secret to be shown to outsiders. They would include unarmed combat using particularly dangerous techniques, since they were designed for the battlefield. Yet at the heart of the teaching, in spite of the concentration on the art of killing, the founder's message is one of peace. He taught that fighting is the last resort, and to kill is evil.
それと有名な熊笹の教えという教えを残しています。熊笹の教えっていうのは、香取の道場の近辺には今でもたくさん生えていますけれども、細い角ですね、笹ですね。そこへ文芸者が訪ねてきた時には、一手教えを願いたいって来た時には、じゃあ門人たちにその熊笹の上に御座を教えて、そしてその上に長久先生乗ってこうシャッとつぶれないですね、さっと乗ってさあどうぞっていうこと。そうするとそれを見た文芸者はもう見ただけでもう毛穴が総立ちになってね、自分が乗ったらぐちゃぐちゃっとこう倒れますから、それ長久先生は御座の上に毅然としてもう座ってられる。その真似はできないんです。
Master Otaki despises the samurai who went around searching for fights and triumphantly killing. He thinks that they led distorted lives and that it's wrong for them to be admired. They left nothing. But the founder of the Katori Shinto Ryu left a family that continues after 20 generations and a school that has made no compromises in its teachings since the 15th century, and yet retains relevance for its 20th century pupils. The balance between the art of killing and following a moral way of life is one that many masters of fighting arts maintain. For them, and for Master Otaki, the arts of war are also the way of peace.